Hello and welcome back to Conan Exiles, and we're in the snowy north. Makes the change from the desert. We are over here, just next to Frostneedle Forest and the Islet Lake and Crystalline Chasm. And we're up here because I wanted to do a bit of base building up in the cold and to get some proper use out of my Aesir building set, which I bought from the bazaar. The first part of the Aesir building set was available, I think, in Chapter 1. But we're now in Chapter 3, and they've just released an extension of it, so that's what I bought. Can we see it, actually? Is it there? Yeah, here we go. The Aesir Stronghold set. You get lots of these interesting building pieces. And like a fool, I bought into it. I say a fool, I quite like it. It's not too bad. Nice roof pieces anyway. So yeah, all the top pieces I think were the first part of the set. Well, no, not all of them. I think the first 3 blocks you can see there. Those were, and that one. These first 4 were all definitely in the first Aesir set. And the next 4 are all in the update. Anyhow, using it, I built this base over here, which I'm quite pleased with. And I also built this bridge over here. So that is the Crystalline Chasm you can see. And I built this lovely bridge just so if I wanted to I could ride all the way across here, because without this bridge I would have to descend that slope, go down to the lake and then ride south. But here I can just ride straight across. Makes for an easier trip home. But this is all made out of arena, and this top piece here, this is all Aesir fence, which we'll talk about more in a little while. There is a big gang of saber-tooths over here. There's like 4 saber-tooths and a boss wolf. So it's really quite dangerous on this side of the bridge. Right, let's clear off. Bastard thing. Yeah, this side of the bridge is normally quite safe. Here's my fort. It looks fairly ugly, I have to say. Well, from the outside at any rate. I mean, you might think it looks ugly from the inside as well, but I quite like it. Oh, he's gone now. Right, so we'll do a quick tour. I mean, up here it abuts onto the rock completely, but we got free access on the other side. And what I did, I just looked around for a valley, or well, more of a dip in this case. A dip that was more or less flat. And then I filled it in with foundation blocks. So it's filled in on this side and on the other side and at the back. And I could have extended it out if I wanted to, but I figured this was far enough. I've got quite a large area there. So the design of the building is based on the floor plan, which in turn is based on the shape of this like shallow valley here, if that makes sense. Well, let's go around the side. These might have to be moved, they're a little bit close to the building now. But here's a back door, all looking rather jolly I think. And then we got the side. But anyway, let's go around the front. We'll do a tour from the front to the back. Yeah, I quite like the Aesir building set. There's some problems though. I've talked about those in a previous video. You've got these big old... hang on, let's see if I can find them. Yeah, you've got these big old fortified wall pieces, and they're not very good in that they don't snap, or at least the curved fortified walls don't snap to foundation blocks, which makes them quite difficult to work with. But the rest of the set is okay, apart from the bloody gates. I might moan about the gates later, but for starters, let's just come inside. So we've got this nice courtyard area. And it's all in Aesir, apart from a few odd items, like these fences here, which are made out of flotsam. And one of the things about this set that I don't like is that, yeah, these fence pieces here, these are Aesir fences, are just out of scale, really. They're too big, and they just look a bit weird, don't they? They don't look really that great. They ought to be a bit shorter. But also, we ought to have a much shorter version that we could use for just roping off areas like this. I mean, something like this flotsam. You know, with ropes or not, I don't know. But something that less intrusive. But yeah, this is going to be my courtyard area, so I can have lots of storage in here. And I'll put in all my outside trades like blacksmithing, things like that. Looking quite good. And we have got access around the edge here. We can go all around the side of the building. So we'll do a quick circuit. Round and round we go. All the way around here. So yeah, I'm pleased with this. One thing I absolutely love about this building set is these support pieces. What are they called? Yeah, the Aesir support frames, which is just really, really useful. But I have to say, this gate here, it can be an absolute pain. So for example, I built all this, put it all in, and they've decided to add these like watchtowers on the side. I built that perfectly, no trouble at all. Built this more or less perfectly, no trouble at all. But for some reason, couldn't put this end wall on. I just couldn't do it. It was so stupid. And in the end, I had to demolish nearly this whole side of the fort. Then put in that end piece. And then rebuild it. And then re-snap in this gate. Because it's just ridiculous sometimes. It just would not go into place otherwise. It was just very, very strange. Anyhow, this is the outside area. We'll go in here to our sort of like ante-room, you might call it. So this is all covered over. We've got these lovely big old chunky columns here. These are quite fun, aren't they? And I like the snow piled up on the inside. I mean, that's just uneven ground, but it looks like snow is just blown in. So it looks quite fun. I like the way it sort of gathers in the corners. So I'll put some indoor trades in here, I think. Blacksmithing, perhaps. No, it'll be indoor trades like, you know, tanning and armory and alchemy and things like that. So this is the antechamber. Let's go inside. This is the main hall. And we've got a lovely fire. Looking very nice indeed. One problem with this fire, which is just fireplace and hearth, and I think this is part of the base game. But one problem with it is that you don't get a chimney. It's quite obviously lacking a chimney. So whereas all that had been open previously, I sort of fenced it in using these sloping wall pieces, inverted and normal. And I think that looks quite nice. But the only reason it's there is to disguise the lack of a chimney. We've got these lovely corner supports here. So that's Aesir vaulted ceiling corner, which I'm very fond of. They look very attractive, don't they? You can put those into any corner. Or you can join a few of them together and create these lovely decorative columns here. Now what's quite odd is that this column looks exactly the same as one of these columns, doesn't it? They look exactly the same. This is a whole column, Aesir pillar, and this will only snap into the middle of a ceiling tile or a foundation block. Whereas this is made up of 4 quarter pillars. So what you have to do is snap 4 quarter pillars together, and then they will snap beneath these decorative pieces up here. So this is snapped in the joint between 4 of the foundation blocks. And the way you create the top piece here is by either snapping 2 or 4 of these together. I can't remember if I used 2 or 4, but that's how you do it. You basically just create those and then snap them together so they form the ceiling support. And then you can snap in the quarter pillars underneath. It works out quite well. Although why I can't just put a regular pillar in there, I don't know. It does seem a bit peculiar. Anyhow, let's go upstairs. This is going to be an upper landing. Not sure what to do up here. Perhaps more storage. Perhaps have a minstrel's gallery or something like that. And we got a back door that takes us out onto the ramparts again. Another door here. Yeah, it's quite an odd floor plan, but the ceiling went on okay, although it looks a little bit ugly. It does look a little bit ugly, but it does work. So let's run up to the top. Yeah, it's a little bit messy up here, but overall I'm quite pleased with it. And you've also got these, whatchamacallums. I think these are skylight ones, are they? Are these skylights? Yeah, Aesir windowed roof. So this is just a regular roof piece, but it's got built-in windows, and these are just roof caps with the end caps on there. Yeah, Aesir rooftops. So that's about it. Yeah, originally when I built this fort, I built the outer walls out of foundation blocks. So what I'm running on at the moment, all these would have been foundation blocks. But if you look at the foundation blocks, there's huge gaps between them. If you look in there, you could just stick your arm in there, couldn't you really? And it just looked a bit stupid. Yeah, all this was made out of foundation blocks, but you could see right through it. And it looked like the draftiest fort imaginable. So I replaced all of those foundation blocks with walls, which worked out pretty well. But it meant that some of this structure has actually got hollow walls. So here, rather than completely change the interior of this room, which I'd already created, if I take this down, I just created this double wall effect. So that runs around all this interior here. Not that, but it runs around that wall, and that wall. So that's just a little oddity of this building. And also I didn't want the snow showing, so this blocks off the snow. So the idea is that this room is really warm, no snow at all, so we want to hide it. Whereas this room, whoops, come on, is a little bit cold, so you've got a bit of snow in here, and obviously outside you've got a crap ton of snow. But no, I'm happy with it, very happy with it. It's the first, what I would call, successful structure I've built out of the Aesir building set. I'm quite pleased with it. Although it does look a little bit boring. This sort of grey wood everywhere is a little bit tedious. So the flotsam stuff sort of livens it up a little bit. And if you didn't notice, I used flotsam stairs here. Because none of the Aesir stair pieces have got rails on them. They're just plain stairs. And I wanted something a little bit fancier in here. So there we go. I might put a partition over here. Just block off this end of the room perhaps. Make this into a sleeping area. But I'm not sure about that. We'll have to see how it goes. But the next step is to start decorating the place. Putting some supplies in. Getting some craftsmen working away. But generally very happy. And the roof, which I thought would be a complete disaster, turned out to be fairly straightforward. I had all the pieces I needed, more or less. But there we go. Hope you enjoyed that whistle-stop tour of the new Aesir base. Hope to see you again for the next episode. And until I do see you again, I shall say good night. Okay then. Cheerio.